If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims. Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Robert Young. Welcome, Robert.
Well, thank you for being so welcoming. You have a beautiful studio.
Thank you. It's my virtual studio.
Yeah, well, you fit right in the virtual studio.
Okay, thank you. So over the past 2.5 decades, Robert O. Young has been widely recognized as one of the top research scientists in the world. Throughout his career, his research has focused at the cellular level. Having a specialty in cellular nutrition, Dr. Young has devoted his life to researching the true causes of, quote, disease, subsequently developing the new biology to help people balance their life. In 1994, Dr. Young discovered the biological transformation of red blood cells into bacteria and bacteria to red blood cells. He has since documented several such transformations. Dr. Robert Young has devoted his career to the discovery of the missing pieces necessary to complete the larger picture of health. And I wanted to share a quote that you have on your website. Dr. Young may be on the threshold of a new biology whose principle, if proven, could revolutionize the biology and medicine worlds. And that's from Dr. Neil Solomon, former head of research for Johns Hopkins University. So happy to have you on my show, Dr. Young.
It's great to be on your show, and always love the opportunity to be able to share and help people in any way to improve the quality and quantity of their lives. So that's what I try to do by empowering people with education, not medication. So it's education is empowering. If you have the truth or the right knowledge and understand how your body works, both on a physical level and also an emotional, mental, spiritual level, then yeah, you're on the right track. So absolutely. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and just look forward to our conversation here.
Wonderful. And where are you connecting from today? And what do you like to be called? Dr. Young, Robert? Like what do you like to be called?
Whatever you feel. Just never call me late to dinner.
Okay.
I think that's
Okay.
the way it is. You can call me Robert. You can call me Dr. Young,
Okay.
Dr. Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's whatever you're comfortable with.
Thank you. Yeah. And where are you connecting from today?
Los Angeles area. Yeah. The Southern California area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
North San Diego.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've lived in that area. My grandmother lived in Carlsbad, my grandmother and father. So I'm really familiar with that part of San Diego. Well, you could consider it North County, San Diego. And I worked on a golf course there. And so I have a lot of fond memories. Later on, my dad moved further south by SeaWorld in proper San Diego, by downtown. So yeah, I grew up San Diego and Alaska. So I had two extremes.
There you go. Two extremes. Yeah.
Yeah.
From very cold probably to a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
Lots of sea air, sea salt. Anyway, closer to the
Yes.
ocean. Well, you may
Well,
have been closer to the ocean where you were at up in Alaska too. So
Well, I did initially, I grew up on an island in Sitka. So, yes, we were, and we had a boat. So, I was on the ocean all the time and by this park, Totem Park. So, we took the dogs there, and it's where the trees go right up to the beach. It's really beautiful. So,
Okay.
yeah, the ocean has been a big part of my life, but not
Mhm.
now as I'm in Colorado. But there's something about the ocean. I have to go to the ocean a few times a year. It calls me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's that context of the ocean at a moderate pH of 8.3 to 8.4, which is identical to the interstitial fluids of our body, which I call the body ocean, which is a saline solution of fluid at the same pH as the ocean, the same energy. So it's walking on the beach, putting your feet into the sand, but into the water, and really reconnecting out to uh, to a fluid that's very very familiar to all of your body cells. Yeah, so the 70 trillion plus cells are all living on the beach. They're islands living in a fluid called interstitial fluid in a organ, which is I learned from my teachers in Germany at the Enderlin Institute, the colloidal connective tissue of the shod. And they've just renamed that and called it a new organ, which it's not, but at least it's new for most people who took anatomy and physiology. Really didn't talk much about the interstitial fluid and its importance, but it's 80% of the extracellular fluid, where vascular or blood fluids is only 20%. And so it's a major fluid of the body. It surrounds every cell of the human body, and it's really where health begins. So if you
Mm.
want to be healthy, you have to manage the interstitial fluid, and there's a very simple way to do that.
And
You can do it on your own,
are you
but
going to give us the answer? There's a simple way to do that.
most people say, well, you need to manage the blood, which is true. The blood is where the life is because it's the primary material that all body cells are made from, are red blood cells. So that fluid is uniquely different. It's actually 10 times lower in pH and about 4 to 5 times lower in electrical energy. So blood vascular fluids is about 7.36, where interstitial fluid is 8.4, 36. So it's 10 times less. Uh, the the amount of piezoelectricity or zeta potential of the blood is at negative 20 millivolts,
Hmm.
and of the interstitial fluid or the body ocean is at negative 80 millivolts. So it's a completely different environment. It's like I say, it's 10 times more alkaline around the cells than around the blood cells. Blood cells
Mm.
tolerate a pH up to about 7.45, going down to about a 7.3. And but if the blood can't get rid of its waste products, it can't get rid of its metabolic or dietary waste, environmental waste, whatever gets into the blood is pushed out into the body ocean. It's kind of like what
Mm.
we're doing on planet. We're taking our waste and dumping it into the ocean. You know, never really thought about that, but
Mm.
it's very similar, but it
Yeah.
doesn't work
Yeah.
because the fish in the ocean are like our body cells. And if you keep
Mm.
dumping toxins into the ocean, whether they're coming from the air or they're coming from human waste or animal waste, or this is not the way to manage and maintain the alkaline design of that body ocean.
Mm.
And the same thing happens with what we eat, with what we drink, and what we breathe. People wonder why they're sick. It's because their body ocean is polluted. You keep
Mm.
dumping into it, and if the body can't, if the interstitial fluid or this large organ, which American science now calls the interstitium, and it is the largest organ of the human body, not the skin, but the interstitium. which contains this fluid, interstitial fluid, surrounds every cell of our bodies. Uh, you have to manage and maintain the cleanliness and purity of that. Uh, and If you do, you'll get better. And if you know how to check it, so you don't have to keep running to the doctor who really has no education in this particular field of science. They didn't necessarily study it anatomically or physiologically, and definitely when it comes to acid-base chemistry, uh, very few people know about this. But if you want to deal with any condition, whether it be, you know, a skin problem, an organ problem, a gland problem, the problem begins in the ocean, our body ocean. So if you clean up that and hyperperfuse alkalinity and improve circulation of that organ, so it can push it out into the lymphatics, out through the 5 channels of elimination for women, which is urination, perspiration, defecation,
Mm-hmm.
menstruation, and respiration. If those channels are open and you've got good circulation, the side effect of this is you get healthy. You have more energy. But people get weighed down and they go to the doctor and they test the vascular fluids. Wait a minute, vascular fluids is not where all the action is. It's outside, it's across the wall. So when you go across that membrane that keeps blood inside the veins and the arteries, uh, is vascular fluid. So that's the dumping. It's also the dumping grounds for body cells. So when body cells are using electrical energy and producing acidic waste, like let's say lactic acid or uric acid, that all gets dumped into the body ocean. So, when you're detoxing, it's not just detoxing, the alimentary canal. The main place of detoxification for improving quality of health is the interstitial fluid, which you can now remember as the body ocean.
Yes.
As far
Wonderful.
as as far as testing that, you asked me a question I didn't answer, but it's good to have a box of these. I don't know if you can
Okay.
see those. See those?
And is this measuring your pH? What is this?
It measures the pH.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a an Octon PHRP temperature meter. If you want to get more detail down to the thousands. But bottom line is that this is a new bottle, so I'm going to see if I can open this
So I
here.
just, while you're doing that, I just want to go back to our body ocean and the ocean. So, is that why the ocean is so healing to swim in the ocean? I mean,
Absolutely.
regardless of us dumping waste in it, I know it's becoming polluted, but it does have the power to regenerate and heal itself.
Yeah,
So, is that why it can be so healing, or being by the beach, the ocean air? Yeah, that element. Can it help us get back into balance with our pH levels?
it can. Yeah. In Italy, a little island off Italy, there's uh, a resort there. It's called uh, Forte Village, and Forte Village has a health facility there, a medical group, but they do treatments. They're called thalasso pool treatments,
Oh, I've
and
never
these
heard of
thalass
that.
yeah, thalasso pool treatments is where you go from one pool to the next pool to the next pool. You go through, and they're all based upon different concentrations of saline, salt from the Mediterranean, and different temperatures, different concentrations of saline. And in a couple of the pools, one of the pools is magnesium. magnesium,
Interesting.
and the others are saline, sodium.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but in each pool, you spend a certain period of time. It could be
Okay.
10, 15 minutes, and you go from one pool to the next. One of the pools is also an aloe vera pool. She actually
Oh, that's amazing.
bathing in aloe. But if you want to check those out, you can go to pH Miracle
Uh-huh. That
Retreat,
okay. That's your
phmiracleretreat.com.
company, PH Miracle?
Uh, that's my website, yes, that
Your website.
actually, yeah, that
Uh-huh.
tells you about this beautiful
Oh, okay.
resort
Wonderful.
uh, in uh, in Italy.
Italy, yeah.
Yeah, so
And just
I'm
for
gonna
our
make sure
audience,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
hold on one second. Just for our audience, I just want to have a quick medical disclaimer that Robert and I are not medical doctors, and this is for informational purposes only, and do your own research. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, my background education is in colloidal chemistry
Uh-huh.
and nanotechnology, in uh, nutrition. So I have a doctorate in chemistry, PhD in nutrition, and I have a doctorate in naturopathy. So I'm a naturopathic practitioner. Uh, in addition to that, I trained with Dr. Marie Blecker, MD, who was a protege of MD Gunther Enderlin, passed away in '68. Marie passed away in 2019. And but that's where they had the Enderlin Institute developed. Many of you might know the Sanum remedies, but having the opportunity to learn and train and gain knowledge from them, that introduced me, close to 35, 40 years ago, this body ocean that they referred to as the colloidal connective tissue um, of the shod. And it really helped to me because, having learned compound microscopy, the father of dark field microscopy, Dr. Gunther Enderlin, and Marie Blecker introduced me to pleomorphism. And pleomorphism is in complete dichotomy to monomorphism, which is the germ theory. Pleomorphism actually follows the law of physics that matter cannot be created nor can it be destroyed. It can only change its form or function. So when looking at the blood in 1994, a type 1 diabetic, 21 years of age, her blood was morphine. It was going from one state to another state. So I literally caught a red blood cell transforming into a rod bacteria, much anatomically identical to the Anthraxis bacillus that current medical uh, science interprets as something that's harmful to the body. But it validated, and I'd already seen pleomorphism because it was introduced to me in the '80s by Marie Blecker, but I had no idea that it could reverse its pleomorphism, so it could go into one form into another form based upon context or based upon environment. So how we treat our internal environment is very, very important. And as a clinical naturopathic physician, and having had the opportunity to help people in over 158 countries, uh, from everything from toe fungus to prostate to breast cancer, and having worked at the universities and worked with a team of scientists at USC and Stanford, lectured at Harvard and Tsinghua University, and worked with and co-lectured as keynote with Luc Montagnier, Nobel Prize winner, and Peter Duisberg and his lab up in Berkeley University, the University of Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley. In his book, Inventing the AIDS Virus, you know, I have so many, uh, scientific uh, ways of describing things that are uniquely different, not because I want to be uniquely different, but I want to be right, not right, but I want to be accurate and scientific
Mhm.
rather than just promoting what everybody else learned at in academia. And I think the greatest example of that was when Duisberg stood up and said, "No, I'm not buying in to this dogma that viruses cause disease. I'm not buying in that
Mm.
HIV, which has never been purified and isolated, causes AIDS." And
Mm.
that was really important to me in the '80s because you know we had some very close family members that uh, were treated with AZT, which was introduced by Fauci
Hmm.
uh, and his game plan, which was just terrible. But perfectly
Mm.
healthy people given something that later, or the suggestion is, oh, you're infected, you have HIV titers,
Mm.
or et cetera, and therefore you're going to have AIDS. Well, what really was it? And I really appreciate Luc Montagnier before he passed away, who received the Nobel Prize for his discovery of HIV, say that this was not AIDS, this was VAIDS, vaccine acquired immune deficiencies.
Mm.
And the cause of this, he said, was actually being transfected. Uh, and this transfection can come from aerosoling, it can come from food, it can come from water, it can come from
What
air.
is that process that you said, transfection? Just for our.
Transfection, trans means across,
Mhm.
being infected across across the membrane. In
Okay.
other words, across your protection, which is your skin and your connective tissue, but it crosses into the body fluids, and it disturbs the central balance of that biofield, that energy of our bodies, and you get when it's compromised, the environment changes because of chemical pollutants or radiation pollutants. Then cells begin to alter their anatomical state.
Mm.
And this is what was happening. Uh, when you do a questionnaire and you find out, that you know your your client patient is drinking, 10, 12 cups of coffee a day, eating junk food, and
That's
and
acidic. That creates an acidic environment, right? The coffee. Yeah.
exactly
Hmm.
creates a acidic environment. It compromises the alkaline design of the body fluids, which is, by the way, one of my foundational uh, hypotheses, is
Okay.
that the human body is alkaline by design. If you want perfect health, pH health, that's an acronym for protons of potential of hydrogen, but I've changed it to also express or added to it to also express perfect health. If you want perfect health, you have to manage and maintain the alkaline design of the body fluids, and that's really difficult because you can't necessarily test the blood per se, but you can test the interstitial fluid, and that's the purpose of the pH strips, is because you can test the urine, and the urine is a product of the interstitial fluid. Sweat is a product of the interstitial fluid. Tears are a product of the interstitial fluid. So if you test your urine, that will tell you exactly how acidic or how alkaline your environment is. And anyone that has a serious health challenge or dealing with a serious health challenge is not ideally at that 8.4 to 9. They're in the fives, maybe sixes, but they're in decompensated acidosis of the interstitial fluid. And that's the number one cause of all symptomologies. So cancer is not a disease, it's a symptomology of the hypothesis of a compromised internal environment, which is alkaline by design, but the body is not dealing with the acid load. It's like drinking alcohol every day
Mm,
and complaining that you have, you know, coordination problems or, you know, uh, some physicality with, you know,
mm,
with your circulation or with your heart or your brain. And you know what the contributing factor is. It's just
hmm
like smoking. Everyone knows that smoking causes cancer. Why? Because it alters the environment, the alkaline environment of the interstitial fluids of the lung. And
mm,
if you alter that, then you're going to cause cells to morph, to change, and they do morph, and they go in stages. One of the stage I call the corona effect. So it gets the cells get kind of a bulging membrane, and the other is spike protein effect. So
mm,
and hematologists have names for these phenomenons that they don't necessarily understand, but it's they're called schistocytes, and these schistocytes give birth out of their membranes these spike proteins.
mm,
So what people to say is pipe, spike protein is a symptom of cellular breakdown. It is not infectious. It's an expression of infectious conditions caused by a polluted environment, and that environment is either uh, affected in vascular, but it initially begins in the interstitial fluid. So
mm.
back to Sardinia, Italy, because I didn't tell you.
Yes, I know. I know. I interrupted you and then, yeah, we went on this. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
but it's an Italian resort medical spa. The actual name of the place is called Forte Village. The PH Miracle retreats we've had there are just wonderful, and you can actually see the thalassal pools. And of course, there's no chlorine that's being used in these pools. These are all uh, the waters come directly from the Mediterranean Sea, and of course from there, the concentrations of the sea are altered, increased to the point that you can actually float on top of this water, just like in the Alive Sea, which wrongfully they call the Dead Sea, or like the Great Salt Lake. So it elevates you, but um, it's amazing because it's exactly what the body's calling for. You know, it's calling for more salt. It's calling
Mm.
for because that's the environment it knows. It's call
Ah.
so it's calling for salt. It's not asking for sugar. I mean, that's the big nutritional lie that you need sugar in order for brain cells to function. Brain cells do not function and do not function on sugar. They function on electrons. They're the brain, the neurons, are electrical. In fact, every cell functions on electrons. In fact, I don't even know why we even talk about calories, why we even talk about you know glucose or the
Mm,
need for proteins or fats or what have you. I mean,
mm,
yes, the conversation, but around, we need that for nutrition. No, what we need from our food is we need electrical energy. I mean,
mm.
you can live off the sunlight and the water. I'm not saying I want to live that way, but I mean, we kind of get,
It's a potential.
we've kind of, I mean, you have an opportunity. People will say, well, you're deficient in sunlight, and and people that live in areas where there's sun is minimal or
Yeah,
affected.
like Alaska, where I grew up, there can be more moments of darkness. Yeah.
Yeah. So the body is seeking for electrical energy. So when you go to the beach, you start breathing in those ions of sodium. The body relaxes. It feels different. It feels better. And the reason why is because now you're giving what it needs. Our colloids of saline, and that saline as a acts as a matrix by which electrical energy can be transported to the cells. And so when you eat
Mm,
foods that contain high concentrations of electrons, and those are all the green foods like avocado and cucumber and broccoli and spinach, all the leafy greens, the grasses, all of those are things that will donate electrons, and that's what you're looking for in your food. And
Okay.
when I did the scale on foods that are alkalizing and foods that are energizing and foods that are not,
Uh-huh. Do you have that
all
on your site? Yeah. The
it's in the
chart?
book.
Uh,
It's in the book Sick and Tired,
oh, sick and tired. Okay.
But if you want, I can send you a short list
Okay.
to anyone who goes to my website drrobertyoung.com. All I need is your uh, there's no fee to sign up, but all I need is your email
Mm-hmm.
and just request information on nutrition and food, or
Yeah.
I have and I'll send you 60 articles, of which one of those articles will have some recipes, and it'll also have this information about foods that are alkalizing. And when I say alkalizing, it's not just about pH; it's also about the the oxidative or the zeta potential of that food. So it's either oxidizing, so it ferments or rots, or it steals electrons, or it's donating. And so it's an electron donor. So people don't understand this. They get a scale, let's say, and they see lemons at a pH of 3 or 3.5. And so lemons are acidic. Absolutely not. And then they'll see oranges up around 6.5 to 7. So oranges, and that's actually wrong too.
Mm.
So you can't go just by the pH scale. You have to go with, what are its alkalizing elements? What is the energy? Is this a high sugar food? If it is, it's going to take more of your life force energy. So oranges, one of the worst fruits is pineapple, will actually steal energy from your body,
Or did you say
where
oranges
lemons,
and pineapples will?
oranges, pineapples, yeah,
Oh,
and
just
and these foods also are high citrus, which is a proton donor, which takes energy from your body, but it's a poison. Citric acid is a waste product of metabolism. Citric and lactic acid, we know those two acids. They're also the two acids that cause cancer, and when those become abundant, they become abundant in very serious inflammatory degenerative conditions. What do we find? We find high levels of lactic acid and citric acid, and then in association with that, we also find mucor and aspergillus and Y form, M form yeast, et cetera, et cetera. You say, where's this stuff coming from? And it comes right from the cells. It comes right from the cells, and what triggers all this is just an increase of proton donating foods that literally steal energy from the body. So you have to move more to an electron rich water. So people say, why would I drink pH water? At 9.5 to 10.5. So the reason for it neutralizes an acid called hydrochloric acid.
mm.
Well, why would I want to do that? That will reduce my ability to digest food. I said the stomach doesn't digest food. It never has, never will. I mean, whoever came up with that idea, that's scientism. It's false. And so the whole description and functionality of the alimentary canal is totally wrong in so many ways. So the stomach is not an organ of digestion, it's an organ of contribution. And the reason why there's hydrochloric acid in the stomach is because it's a waste product with salt production. The stomach produces compounds of salt that maintain the alkaline design of the body ocean. And production, its main purpose is to provide alkalinity for the salivary glands and for the pylorus glands and the pancreatic and the glands, and so all these glands are secreting sodium and potassium bicarbonate. Why? Because the stomach provides it. So if you drink a lot of coffee, you drink black tea or even green tea, which is acidic, that's going to steal energy from your body. Now you can say, well, it has these antioxidants in them,
Or
but you have to
caffeine, and
weigh
it
the
has caffeine too, but maybe that's not good. That takes energy
well, you
from.
have to weigh the acidic compound, the acidic contributing factors against the alkaline, the antioxidants against the oxidants, and you have to measure the energy of that food. But so what that does is every food table out there that's describing this is absolutely wrong. And it doesn't mean there isn't some truth to it, because there's nothing so false that doesn't contain an element of truth. And so it is, that's the medical model. And we see that even today for the last 4 years. Some
Interesting.
of it's true,
Yeah.
but you only have to be really wrong in one area,
Mm,
and people get injured.
yeah.
So not to
So,
talk about that, but the bottom line is when you realize the stomach's purpose is to alkalize the food, not digest the food, and that happens immediately, you start testing your urine and you see how what you eat and what you drink does affect the pH. And that's the whole deal with most writers out there. They know nothing about what they're talking to. Most people that write uh, articles that are in contradiction to what I'm talking about, they have no science background, or they're
yeah,
pulling from here and pulling there. The bottom
right.
line is they don't understand the physiology of the stomach.
That's interesting. Yeah. And you know what? I feel like you have been targeted. Do you feel like you've been targeted and silenced at all?
I think I know I am.
And it's like, but you're a scientist and you're speaking the truth. Is it because the medical institutions feel threatened, the government feels threatened by your message of health?
Well, it's basically, those who we know who are controlling things, and what their outcomes are. I mean, so I'm talking about extending the quality and quantity of life.
Yeah.
That's not on the agenda. I'm sorry.
Well, it's just
Anyone,
kind of sad to think that, but yes, I hear you. Because another reason why I wanted to connect with you, because you made a comment once about your research that you wanted to present it to universities, and they would, if they implemented it, which is the truth, they would immediately lose their funding.
well, that was an experience with the largest uh, uh, Black African American uh, universities and medical schools in the country.
Okay.
It's Morehouse College, and my good friend, Dr. Professor Lawrence Carter, invited me there to speak at Morehouse College, and then eventually he asked me, "Would you like to provide help and support, and we would like to use one of your books as the text for a class for medical students there at the medical school." And so that lasted a year. And the only reason it is not there now is because they were threatened that if they continued to teach their medical students this science, that they would pull their funding. They would pull it. And people
Fascinating.
that I was working with Standard, they said if you continue to work with Dr. Young, we're going to fire you.
Mm,
And the group at USC that we're working at, we spent 2 years of time and money to prove out the cure for cancer.
yeah.
And we were successful in doing that. We were going to publish, and they said, no, we're not publishing anything, on this subject. There will be no cure for cancer.
Wow, was that
And
surprising to
it
get
was
that
shocking.
response?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
It's shocking because you're thinking this is good for the whole of humanity,
Yes.
but that's not the outcome of those in power.
Mm,
And for those who
interesting.
are in power in pulling these strings, they say, no, if you go down that road, you'll lose your funding. But we were
Feel
we
it.
were going to provide a substantial funding to the university, but
It
we're
wasn't enough.
talking we're talking billions of dollars, but it's not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah.
It's not enough because the agenda is I think now, for those who are awake, is quite obvious, and we
Mhm.
don't need to discuss that.
No, we don't need to
I
get
think
into it. But I do find it interesting that your research found a cure for cancer. And a little background about me, my father died in 2017, but not, okay, in my opinion, not of cancer, of the chemotherapy treatment that they continued to give him when his body could not handle the toxicity. And
Mhm.
I saw the chart on the doctors. There was like this chart saying that his cells were acidic. And so I started researching it, and your name came up. This was years ago, and I started talking to my dad about it, but he would not listen. And was in the narrative and trusting the doctors and everything, even in the ER. So to his demise. And then in 2020, I was diagnosed with cancer myself. And before that, I think it was, well, part of the reason was my diet, could have been also emotional. But I was on a keto diet.
Mhm. Well, that's just another word. Ketones are acids.
Yeah.
Acids from breakdown of fats. So why would you go on a ketone diet?
Well, I
You're
thought
going
it
on
was
you're going
healthy.
on it. No, it's not.
Well, now I know
That's well,
because
that's
I
why
stopped it.
that's become a very popular diet because
Well,
it
I
hurts more
know.
people than it helps.
Well, I think there's one aspect that's good that I know you support, which is like eliminating the sugar, processed food and all of that. That's
Mhm.
what I think one aspect is healthy because it gets people out of that mode into more natural foods. But I think the high meat, now I'm vegan and I don't have cancer, which is interesting. Could there be a connection?
Well, cancer is not a disease, number one. Cancer is a symptom of cellular breakdown due to a polluted environment that's
Okay.
lost its energy. It's zen. It's lost its zen. So
Since it's Zen
it's lost
success.
it's lost its zeta potential, its zen potential. In
Okay.
other words, it's gone from a negative charge to a positive charge. So the polarity of the cell reverses in a cancer cell. A guy by the name Warburg received a Nobel Prize that stated this, and he was 100% accurate that cells are normal cells that have reversed their polarity. So their surface charge was negative, now it's positive. You see, so that's a reversal, and that is a formulation for pathological blood coagulation and blood clotting, but it doesn't allow the blood to serve the purposes of delivering light and picking up acidic waste. And we're not just talking about carbon dioxide, we're talking about any acid, even if it's graphene. The red blood cells will pick it up and try to get rid of it. In fact, they do more work than the white blood cells. White blood cells are just a small group of glorified, janitors. They go around and pick up, the waste products of cells and some of the artifacts and these positive, they also release negative charges of SO minus and HO minus, in order so reduced oxygen, reduced hydrogen to neutralize the waste products of cellular breakdown. But the elephant in the room, as it relates to protecting our health, is the stomach.
Hmm.
It's on the front line, and its main purpose is to take carbon dioxide and water and salt to make potassium bicarbonate or sodium bicarbonate to maintain the alkaline design of the body fluids. If you're on a salt-free diet, you're on your way out.
Mm.
That's just assisted suicide.
That's interesting
Body,
because a lot of what you'll hear is reduce your salt intake.
yeah, well, that's
Isn't
part of the eugenics program.
it? Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So, increase your sugar and reduce your salt. That's part of the eugenics program.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the same thing, increase your protein and decrease, I mean, you said it, increase your fats, increase
Yeah, for the keto, right.
ketone, and that's a eugenics program,
Mm,
but what do I say? What does God say? Eat like Adam. That's what he said.
okay.
Eat like Adam, eat like Eve. And he said it in the first chapter of Genesis, chapter 29, uh, let all green foods be for your meat. And Jesus said it in the writings of the Apocrypha to the Essenes
Interesting.
when Jesus was asked, Master, how do we have eternal life? And he gives a dissertation on not smoking grass, but drinking it, eating
Mm,
it, grazing on it. And that's what happened to Nebuchadnezzar when he went crazy on his ascetic lifestyle.
mm.
They put him out to pasture for 7 years to graze on grass. And then we have Daniel, in the first chapter of Daniel, saying, to the guard eunuch, said, here's the king's wine, here's the king's meat. He would not defile his body.
Mm, hmm.
He said, bring me pulse and water. Bring me pulse and water. And what is the Hebrew translation of pulse? That which comes from seed.
Mm.
Bring me
Well,
vegetables, bring me fruit, but that I will show you in 10 days that I'll be 10 times stronger. I don't care who it is. You do this program of
hmm.
eating like Adam for 10 days, you write me an email saying thank you. And it's not me. It's science
Hmm.
that uh, that reflects the way we should be taking care of ourselves and our body.
What about
So
fasting? Does fasting help as well?
fasting's dangerous.
It
I
is.
don't agree
Okay.
with fasting. I agree in
Okay.
feasting. Feasting, in other words, eating less more often rather than more less often, because less is more and more is less. So but you have to understand that the body doesn't run on food. It runs on the energy of that food.
Mm,
The carriers are the elements that carry that energy. So the question is not about assimilation. It's about getting the food, you know, into the body that's been liquefied at a pH of 8.4 that can present a zeta potential of at least 80 to 120 millivolts negative. I mean, you're not going to get that, at fast food place. You're not going to get that in most of the foods at some of these so-called health stores or
mm.
natural food stores. They don't have food like that. I mean, if you're sprouting, that's live food. Why is it alive? Because it contains inner light. It contains the spark. It contains that piezoelectricity that your cells run on.
Mm.
That zeta
So you
potential. It
recommend
don't
that sprouts.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I recommend sprouting. It's not in the seed; it's in the sprout of that seed. So it's
Mm.
hemp sprouts. It's bean sprouts. It's not beans. Beans are acidic. The body can't do anything with a bean. Swallow it, comes out the same way it went in. Even if you chew it, it'll come out in bits and pieces out of you.
Oh my God. That's like a
So the best
major
thing you can
staple
do,
in our
yeah, the
home.
best thing, yeah, the best thing you can do is concentrate your food through juicing and through a blending.
Okay.
And then rather than using your teeth, you use the teeth of the blender and the
Mm.
juicer to bring the food to a place because the body cannot use solid food. It has to blend it. In other words, your stomach's not going to break it down. You know that by just eating corn. It comes out corn, goes in corn, comes out corn. You recognize it. Oh, I had corn
Yeah.
today.
I mean, not me.
Peanuts. Oh,
I don't eat corn.
I ate some peanuts, you know. Oh,
Yeah.
geez, you know.
Okay, so that then do you follow that? Do you
Yes,
actually
yeah,
eat food or
yeah.
you drink your nutrition?
No, you take an avocado and some spinach and a handful of of this and that, green leafy greens.
Hmm.
You put some grasses in there. You can put some powders in there, some hemp profile protein, that's already been powderized. And you take some, organic almond milk, or you make your own almond milk. and you blend it all together, and that's your food. I mean,
Okay, so
people say, "Well,
that's how you're
what
eating.
about eating a salad?" I says, "Yeah, you make a salad, and you may be a little tired by the after making the salad, or maybe you've had a hard day, what have you. You just take it, whatever that salad is, you dress it, not with vinegar, because vinegar is a poison. You dress it with lemon or lime,
Hmm.
and you add salt, and you add oils, hemp oil, flax oil, avocado
Okay.
oil, whatever. And then you put it in the blender and you blend it and you drink your salads.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's wow. I mean, I enjoy eating, so it's just kind of like interesting, but
You enjoy chewing.
I enjoy chewing. You're right. But
Yeah.
I
But
also like smoothies. So I wouldn't mind doing that, you know?
well,
It's
it's easy
just
to
kind
do
of
and you feel,
a paradigm shift for me.
yeah. So what you end up doing is increasing your volume by reducing all this, undigested food that you put into your mouth and try to chew up that the stomach does not digest. So
Mm.
you get all that loss of energy because 50% of your zeta potential, your energy that you need in a day is used up just trying to get rid of the food you put in your mouth that the body can't use.
Oh, wow.
The body can't use protein from animal sources. All you do is pollute it. It has no nutritional value. In fact, it's not about nutrition. It's about energy. Our bodies are electrical. We are electrical beings. We run on electrons,
Mm.
and the transport of those electrons are on saline. So you're not going to get any of that from animal flesh. What you're going to get is a foreign matter that the body activates against, especially eggs. I mean, what you get are particulates of protein from that. It gets into the blood, it pollutes the blood. It takes 3 to 5 days to get rid of it. And people
Mm.
just keep doing this and doing it. In fact, Dr. Livingston Wheeler, who suggested that eating eggs was what she thought was the major cause of cancer. It's a contributing factor.
That's interesting because that I saw a healer and she recommended that. She's not a medical professional, but she intuitively said stop eating eggs.
Well, yeah, because you're eating the chickens, period, and who wants to eat a chicken's period? But you're
Mm.
eating something from a chicken, unless you want to be a chicken, you take on that intelligence of whatever you eat, whatever you drink, you're whatever environment you create, that becomes you. And so it's important to eliminate these thieves that steal electrical energy from your body, and one of them is eggs. It's one of my top 10 foods never to eat.
Is what?
Yeah,
Eggs.
eggs. Yeah.
Have you done research to contrast traditional medical treatments for cancer and other diseases such as surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation versus an alkaline diet?
Yeah, well, what we were going to publish was, a 3-year study of 385 people, of which, we eventually published part of that story that was being followed by the scientists that I worked with at USC. And what we learned, what we found is that out of that 380, 285 of them, uh, or 96% of them, reverse their conditions, and these were in the category of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. So
Wow,
100%, 100%, 96% reversal.
that's a
Could have been
pretty good
100%.
statistic.
Yeah, there was 85 of this group that were terminal, and that was only 81%. So 81%, but 100% lived 2.5 years longer than their prognosis. So if you're giving 2 weeks to live, you got an extra 2.5 years. So that was 100% of the case. So those who were terminal lived longer, their lives improved, and 81% of them went into remission. And remission generally in terms is depending on the cancer is 5 years or greater,
Hmm.
and total remission is 10 years or greater. So you can talk to hundreds upon hundreds of my client patients who now passed their 10-year mark that are still in remission. Uh, those who went back to their lifestyle before and started drinking alcohol, or started eating meat,
Yeah.
they got lazy, their cancer returned.
Very interesting. I don't drink alcohol, so I am doing some things right. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not
Mhm.
saying, you know, eating meat is a choice. I understand that, but I
Mhm.
chose not to do that, or
Mhm.
eggs. But one of the things that my cancer doctor recommended was I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. They recommended a radical hysterectomy. And I felt like it wasn't right for me. I mean, maybe it's right for other people, but I mean, as far as like that surgery, because I was able to heal it on my own through healing and diet and other means. It feels like it things wouldn't function. I mean, what do you think about surgery as a form of treatment?
Uh, well, let's put it at the bottom of the list of things you can do.
Okay, yeah, as a last
All
resort
right.
is an option.
In fact, it's not even a good last resort per se, because any surgery will do harm. You after the surgery will not be the same. You know,
Yeah.
so it's an assault to the body,
Mm-hmm.
and in the particular area that is being assaulted. Uh, but you know, we've we've come to an age of intellect where people want something now, and they're used to
Yeah.
having it rather than putting in the time and the work and actually making the changes necessary to restore
Yeah.
the
It
restore an
takes a lot of
environment that's
discipline to
it does.
do
Yeah,
what
there's
you're
it's a
recommending.
commitment. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I call it not a diet. I call it a live it, because you
Mhm.
want to take the word die out of anything that you're doing, and you want to put life in it. So it's a life it. It's a live it. And when you do that, you have a better chance of success. But in a live it, uh, and this is what we did with this research. We allowed, we didn't allow, we recommended that they continue working with their doctors
Yeah.
and in a way that they felt comfortable, in a way that you feel comfortable. And the way that actually came out to be was people kept that relationship and they monitored their conditions
Yeah.
by doing the tests that they felt comfortable. Even with some of these, because the only way you can actually prove out the cure for cancer is you have to do biopsies. And
Hmm.
even though I don't like biopsies, in order to be recognized and be credible scientifically, uh, if someone's going to have a uterus removed or a prostate removed, and there's lesions on that, or let's say they've they've metastasized out, you have to biopsy that, and then you have to re-biopsy later. So that's how you prove the cure for cancer, which we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We did.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that my punishment for that was to be so bold to even attempt to do that and be
Hmm.
successful at it. That's my crime.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's been such an honor talking with you. I feel like a little bit like an analogy of Snowden. I feel like you, you are just this hero for health. I'll just say that, and doing what's right. And that's why I wanted to have you on my show. I wanted to get this information out there and get the right information out there so that everyone could live a long, healthy life. And
Yeah, well, that's important, and you're a great steward for that, and a very powerful voice for it because you did it yourself. And
Yes.
so you're a perfect example of what making the right changes can result in. And so you're a beacon of hope. And as a
Mhm.
beacon of hope, you can influence so many people to 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 find the faith, which is the first attribute in thinking healthy, and the courage to actually do the right thing. And as Martin Luther King said, it's always the right thing to do the right thing. And I'm
Mhm.
paraphrasing that, but
Yes.
there's never a bad time to do the right thing. So,
Mm.
and you did the right thing, and you're the proof of and the evidence that following, an energized alkaline lifestyle can work. And the beauty of this, it's all written down. It's all in the book. It's all in PH Miracle Revised and Updated.
And I have this
Chapters.
too. This is really
Well,
good too.
that's the published study. That was peer
Yeah.
reviewed published study
Yeah.
on
It's called
on
Alkalinizing Nutritional Therapy in the Prevention and Reversal of Any Cancerous Condition.
that's
Incredible.
correct. It is. And guess what? It works 100% of the time in improving the quality and quantity of your life. Period.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, what's next for you? Are you
What's
taking
next
people
for
on
me is
retreat?
just to uh, find ways here working on some randomized blinded studies to help people rid themselves of graphene oxide and forever chemicals that are like polyethylene glycol and glyphosate and things that are in people's bodies that are making them sick. Graphene, which
Mm,
is, of course,
that's
I'm finding
amazing.
finding it in many people, and I've published 2 papers on this subject, and I'm happy to provide those to any of your listeners free of charge.
Well, thank you
Uh,
so
it, it-
much.
and you can go to ResearchGate. ResearchGate is a source of information on published articles that they have millions and millions of documents there, and so a lot of researchers are also using my work and referencing it in their publications. So
Hmm.
the interest is growing, and I'm happy for that because as the interest grows and more people learn the truth, you know, it sets them free, to live in, health and and peace,
Hmm.
and that's important. Let's call
Yeah.
it Zen success.
Let's call it that. And also to our audience, if you feel called to donate to Dr. Robert Young's work, he has a page on the site, and I'll also include it in the show notes. So it's been such a pleasure having you on my show, hearing about your
Thank you.
research and the prevention of disease. And I'll put the websites and how to connect with you. So thanks for joining me on the Zen
Hey,
Success
you're
Show.
welcome. All the best.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey. And join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.
Since 2011, American Giant has been making everyday clothing with extraordinary effort. Not in far-off factories, but right here in the USA. We obsess over fabrics, fit, and details, because if you're going to wear it every day, it should feel great and last for years. From the cut of a hoodie to the finishing of a seam, nothing is overlooked. Our supply chain is tight-knit and local, which means less crisscrossing the country and more care in every step. The result is durable clothing, t-shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and denim, that become part of your life season after season. This isn't fast fashion, it's clothing made with purpose by people who care as much about how it's made as how it fits. Get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with code STAPLE20.